All right. Good evening, ladies and gents. All of you interplanetary time travelers, you call yourself, we salute you. This is Oliver, and I'm in a bunker I like to call Studio 72. And I'm just doing a current event stream, just kind of talking about the two main things in the header there, atmospheric monsoons. What is going on with the weather? What is going on? Some of it's predictable. Some of it we talked about. But who predicted hundreds of people drowning in what appears to be atmospheric monsoons into Texas? I sure didn't predict that. And I don't even think professionals predicted that. There was flash flood predictions, okay? But did anybody predict that? God almighty. God almighty. We're listening to D-Nox and Becker's live set 2016 Tribe. This one, it's interesting. This SoundCloud, I didn't drop it in there. I should have done that. Doggone it. My bad. Afterwards, if I can remember, I'll drop in this. But what's interesting about this SoundCloud mix, it's very powerful, is that this popped up on artists that you're following. This DJ is from Tel Aviv. This DJ was playing at the rave October 7th before things lit up. This is one of the DJs that got blasted. And that's not really on, there's a deep dive to that. I mean, there's a rabbit hole and then a wormhole and then a deep dive on October 7th on that rave party, which I love rave parties. I went to rave parties. We hosted rave parties. I used to post artwork, my paintings up in the warehouse spaces for rave parties back in the 90s. I'm going way back. I'm an old timer now, so. But that's kind of powerful. He goes by Kiddo, Kido, Kiddo Matan, or Matin. But his profile is Tel Aviv. That's where he's from. And, one of the things that was on my mind was back then, has it been 2 years since that? I think it's been 2 years. But one of the things that was on my mind is, what could I possibly find the set that Kiddo was playing when the attacks started? When those paragliding cavemen, as I call it, the Neanderthal paragliding cavemen came down out of the sky. That's, if you don't know, that's how they originally... You guys already hit me hard. Come on, Persia. Hi, football clips. Oh, jeez. You guys are coming in slamming, man. You're coming in slamming. I don't know if the bots and the AI are so intelligent. You guys could be intelligent bots. I have no idea. But that's so funny. Football clips 2.0 in the house. So if you don't know that's how the story goes. I think I found some video. It's been a while, but I did do a deep dive on that, and because I was really interested in the DJs, the location. I did maps. I looked at the maps and zoomed in on the property. And that whole story is who blows up beautiful ravers in Israel, relaxing, trying to decompress, trying to let all the war and the trouble and problems of the world go, to have some good time, meet some beautiful people, do some beautiful dancing, and then ambush. And then the reaction to that was way overdone. And there was a thing called the Hannibal Directive, I believe. Hannibal Directive by IDF, which means just light it all up. Light everything up. Every car's got to go. Every building's got to go. But cool. I'm real bombers. Aqua Blue, Bendejo. 419, good to see you guys. How you guys doing? What's on your mind? Are you feeling stressed out? Where are you at? Are you in the States? You around the world? Are you on Saturn and Pluto? No, it would be Saturn and Neptune. Saturn and Neptune are doing this little dance right now. Oh my God. Brother, you're in the wrong chat, man. We're all about peace in here, brother. We're all about peace in here. But so I digress on the Israeli massacre. And the atmospheric monsoons is, first I want to say condolences to everyone that has been traumatized in Texas in particular, but it's actually expanding. There's like 5 states now that are underwater. None of it looks natural. I'm not going to go into a conspiracy deep dive on it, but weather modification is real. Geoengineering is real. I don't believe that the small little cloud seeders that they're trying to, kind of like Patsy Ringers, are trying to pin this on Texas cloud seeders. It just doesn't work like that with silver iodine. It doesn't. Silver iodine and cloud seeders does not create 30-foot swells in an hour, 2 hours, and then drown hundreds and hundreds of people. It doesn't happen like that. Not with the cloud seeders. Now, it can happen. I do believe, like I openly have said, that it could be geoengineering. And it could just be a lot of moisture coming in on clay-baked soil. Now, New Mexico, now I have a little video. If you look at my videos, 2 weeks ago or maybe a little longer, I made a video about, I think, what's it called? Rosario, New Mexico. And because they had flooding 2 weeks ago, they're flooding again now. There's viral clips on X that have got these mudslides coming down the mountains, and they've got a house. You'll see this small little shack floating and going down the muddy river, or whatever you call that. The mudslide, the liquefied. There's probably a scientific name for that. But the whole situation, back to my little video there was kind of doing a heads up and a warning. Ryan Hall, y'all, he's weatherman, he's professional, but he was literally with the Weather Network, Weather Channel, and he knows he's got a great YouTube channel. Shout out to him. He's following right now, warning people of high winds and tornado right now. That's what he does. This guy saves lives. He's like a pre-rescue worker. He's a pre-Coast Guard intel officer because he follows all of the radars. He's got people on the ground. Ryan Hall, y'all. Hey, Believe, Love Spirit, how you doing? Good to see you. So he did it. This was 2 weeks ago. I'm going back 2 weeks because this has been a repeat pattern in this exact area in New Mexico. Well, what's in that area in New Mexico? There was last year a major wildfire that took thousands and thousands of acres up on a mountain. And on the mountain, when that all got burned, it's called a burn scar. So when the rains come, which it did 2 weeks ago, and now it's doing it now, it looks like it's even worse now, but I think there was some deaths 2 weeks ago. Same spot. It's the same city because it's at the bottom of the hill. It's on the bottom of the wildfire from the forest fires and where the mudslides were. And so that's what's going on there with that New Mexico spot, if you look at that. Now, coincidentally, if you look at my video that I made, I saw on Google Maps, and I noticed my recording's a little choppy. It's hard to edit. I don't know who was editing that. I don't edit any of my videos, but it probably was just the driver. I don't think it was a direct edit, but it sure is weird if you look at that. If you look at my video, it's on just 2 weeks ago, I believe. And I noticed that there is, right in the middle of New Mexico there, it's the Apache Reservation. Apache, Native Americans, First Nations. And I joked 2 weeks ago about an Apache rain dance. And I am asking, is this a rain dance? We got an Apache rain dance coming? And it turned out that might have been what happened. No, I don't know what happened, but The rains did come. It's atmospheric monsoons. I just make that up. It's not a scientific term. Now, the scientific term is atmospheric rivers. But I started using the word atmospheric tsunamis here on the West Coast because all through the winter we were getting slammed with tsunamis. Not tsunamis. That was one of my predictions was tsunami. It was an atmospheric river that I was calling a tsunami. It was coming up from Hawaii, coming up right through and slammed through. California got flooded. Some kids died canoeing in Northern California. I think we had a couple of deaths in Southern Oregon. I could be wrong about deaths. But it was a messy, massive, juiced up rain coming across the Pacific in these atmospheric rivers, which are thin lines. If you've never seen it, it's just thin lines, but it's juiced up. It's literally like an ocean current or a river in the atmosphere. And that's what these things kind of look like to me on the radar coming in. I'm an amateur, so it's just my amateur armchair opinion. Of course, you know, I'm not a professional weatherman. Ryan Hall, y'all is. And go check him out right now. I think he's still live, warning people about tornado potential. And I saw he was talking about Chicago or Illinois had some flooding or something. I think that was him. There's several pretty good weather channels going. I watch them all. I like to drop in on them. But it just kind of looks like it's monsoon type of activity. Which, what does that mean? They were calling it like old hurricanes. So like the remnants of a hurricane. And you've got reports of excessive chill vibes. Please tone down the comfort or face immediate cozy arrest. This is your first and final warning. All right, YouTube police departments. Looking right at you, boss. Looking right at you. You guys like the rave music? Is that too chill for you? I got to have a little chill music going on when I meditate and just trying to relax. What a crazy week. What a week. I mean, it's been crazy on multiple levels. I've got all kinds of things going on. But to see this flooding massacre of young girls in particular at this Mystic camp, I mean, my heart and condolences goes out to each and every one of them. I have a daughter, and those could be my daughters. It's got to be the worst case scenario that anyone could ever imagine. And you hear the stories of them holding hands, and oh my God, I've been heartbroken all through the holiday weekend. I was really emotional. I mean, I could have teared up if I would have let myself. It's just tragic, just watching it, all this stuff, these updates, and it's really been difficult. On top of that, and the other weather trauma, we've had these political tsunamis where we've had all kinds of weirdness that's happened. It looks like to me the American First Project, the American First, that the political populist movement has not only been split, but it looks like it's cratering and imploding. It looks like it's been compromised. And the only thing positive that I can say about it at this point, because it's devastating, it's heartbreaking the base. I can read the comments. I've posted things myself, and it's like, we're heartbroken. This is a real shaker. This is a political tsunami that's drowning millions. 77 million Donald Trump voters are now all needing life jackets and lifeboats and drowning. That's how serious it is, because we have all of the campaign promises, in my perception, are being broken. The number one that's most important and why I jumped on is Donnie's repeated peace accord mantra. Over and over and over again, Don said on the campaign trail he would bring world peace. That was his agenda. He wasn't going to be captured and beholden to military-industrial complex. He wasn't going to be captured and beholden to any foreign political action committees, whether it's AIPAC or CHICOMs or whatever it is, Israeli intelligence. It kind of looks like we've got Mossad in the White House running the show, and maybe it's Sin Bet. I don't know. I'm an amateur with intelligence. It's not my department. I have no training in it. I've studied it, but so what? You know, I was like, I know nothing about it. I know a little bit. I'm just saying I'm not a professional about it, right? It's kind of like psychology. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist, but I've studied enough psychology for 25, 30 years. I know a little bit about it, but I'm not a professional. But it really looks like with this latest huge, the biggest blunder that the campaign has done, and there's been several huge implosions lately. Oh my God. You guys crack me up, man. You guys crack me up. There's some trollers there. It's just amazing. Listen, hit the like. There's 30 left. I had about 70 in there, which is, I don't get big numbers. Like, that's very small trickles. But hit the like and then hit subscribe. I'm trying to get some subscribers to kind of boost, try to help elevate it a little bit. Although it's not my priority. I don't ask for money. I'm not going to sell you vitamins. I'm not going to sell you soap or something that impresses the women all night long. I'm not selling anything. I'll never sell you anything. All right. Except for paintings, and I've got people that collect, and I can't keep up with the demand. I don't produce fast enough, so I've got to do an Andy Warhol where I set up a warehouse and like employ like maybe 50 Keebler elves or something. And I don't know if you know who Andy Warhol is, but little pop art artists, and just have everybody do all this, and I'll just come in and sign the corner. It's like we'll do a bunch of maybe who would we do? Ivanka Trumps. Ivanka needs some pop art, guys. Wouldn't that be fun? Or maybe some Trumps. I don't know. I'm so disappointed in Trump right now. I don't want to paint him. I don't even want to think about him. My God, we got years to deal with this. The best thing Trump could do right now to salvage America first and salvage the country, because the midterms we're going to be shellacked. Anybody that is a Trump supporter, and who knows, with all of the bots and stuff, and or just outsiders coming in, you may not have any interest in America first or Trump. And at this point, I don't blame you. It's very, very unfortunate, absolutely devastating. When he talks about sending weapons to Ukraine, which he said he would never do, and there never would have been a conflict. When he talks about he's going to bring peace, and he's dropping 30,000-pound bunker busters on nuclear facilities with nuclear bombs in them, don't kid yourself. Iran's nuclear. Iran's got nuclear weapons. If Pakistan, if the backwoods Pakistanis, and no offense, we don't need you guys coming for me or trying to take out anybody in the country, in the States, okay? Don't get upset. But if the backwoods Pakistani guys, which it looks like there's all kinds of factions of rebels that are, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I'm not sure if they know what they're doing. Who's paying them? China? Maybe China. But if they have nuclear missiles, Iran's got them. Iran's got a lot more money, a lot more suave, rico suave. The mullahs, the fancy hats. I kind of like those hats. I'm not a big religious fanatic, but those hats are cool. I like those hats. I'm gonna get a hat. And then whoever the guys making fun of me of my receding hairline. Then if I had my little mullah helmet on, you couldn't make fun of my receding hairline. I could care less, guys. What the hell? You think I give a fuck? Holy shit! Do I look like I give a fuck? Do I give 2 fucks? I don't give 2 fucks about my hair, man. Let me tell you that right now. And no, Mark, I'm not out on bail. I'm not out on bail. I do. That's very thoughtful, though, sir, because you are solid gold. Iran is wealthy. Rock empowerment. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're not dealing with poor guys in scrub brush. You are dealing. Listen, Iran. Everyone underestimated Iran, and I'm not some big mullah fanatic. Let's just talk geopolitics for a second here, right? The political tsunami, if you will. Or the political monsoons, if you will. We've got deep underground bases, right? You ever heard the deep underground military bases? DUMB, dumb. But they're not dumb. They are super smart military. We've got them all over the country. We've got our defense rockets, right? We got our defense. We got our mountains. And I kind of feel weird talking about these places because it's like they're all prime targets. We are sitting ducks. We have very little air defense in this country. And I'm on the West Coast. I don't know where all you guys are. But I'm on the West Coast. I got Chi-Com submarines just doing circles out here. Just waiting for an opportunity to hit one of 35 bases in California. There's like 35 bases in California. We are prime targets. How about Alaska? Did you see the footage? There's brand new footage of Russian fighter jets storming past. Looks like a Top Gun video. What do they call that when the planes come by and swoop? There's a name for that. I forgot. There's a name for that where they storm the other fighter jets. The fighter jets are playing Top Gun in Alaska today or yesterday. It's fresh video. Did you see that the Mufi Dunga got flamed as he was running from the warhead? Trojan AI, I'm not sure, man. Listen, I've seen a lot of war footage, and I don't have a side. I don't have a team. I'm on team peace. I want global peace. That's why I joined America First. And that's what I called myself. I identify with America First, more so than MAGA. I never really kind of embraced the MAGA. This is just my perception, I'm using my words. What we're seeing now is a split where we have MAGA making Israel great again. And I look at it as more as a rescue operation because Israel, this is just my opinion, I'm not an expert on geopolitics, never been in the military. I'm a peace activist, although I do believe in self-defense. And that includes street battles, which is more my style. I'm not a gun nut guy, but I have no problem with guns. And I am a 2A guy, but it's not my thing. And I don't like war. So that's the bottom line. It's like I don't want to root for anybody being blasted and then seeing them on fire. When I see these videos of little dusty babies being pulled out of low-income housing in Gaza, it makes me want to cry. My heart bleeds. And that doesn't mean I'm siding with Hamas. I could care less with Hamas. If you know about Hamas, Israel funded and created Hamas to have a boogeyman to create an excuse to come in and terrorize Gaza. That's just my opinion, but I'm going to say my opinion here today. If you disagree with that, tell me. Iran is wealthy. They're very wealthy. Qatar is very wealthy. We've got a lot of wealthy players there. America underestimated Iran and Israel underestimated Iran. They thought they could just come in and terrorize with this multi-$100 billion campaign, blow up a bunch of facilities, which I'm still not sure if they were yellow cake processing facilities out. And then the one in the middle of the mountain, that one was storage. That one is the centrifuge, however that works. I saw a couple videos after to try to educate myself because I'm totally clueless about how they process that stuff and centrifuge and what the hell was going on in this mountain that they blew up. And I did a video on it, kind of mocking it with this little cartoon drawing. I've got that on my rollout. It's just, to spend trillions of dollars to blow up gravel in the Iranian desert, it's just absolute nonsense. And you see all the administration now today, they're touting this Operation Midnight Scammer, as Max Blumenthal with Gray Zone coined it. I've been using that phrase for just because it rings a bell. It really feels like a scammer situation, not really as much as an effective midnight hammer of destroying radio facilities. Anytime I hear the discrediting that Iran even has nuclear warheads, I feel like that is total ignorance and gaslighting. How do I know that and they don't? I mean, I'm just a jackass painting. See my paintings here? I'm just a jackass painting using oil paints, mixing and cleaning brushes. I mean, what the hell? How do I know this stuff? How do I know that Iran's got hypersonic missiles, which they showed the world? How do I know that? How do I know that the Houthis were using the hypersonic missiles to blow up Israel as well as Iran? How do I know that and they don't? Do you know that? Do you know what a hypersonic missile is? Do you know the difference? It's high tech and you can't stop it. It moves so fast. Mach levels of speed of sounds. Mach 4s, 5s, 6. Russia's apparently got Mach 8s. I don't even know all that technology, except for it's really fast and it's unstoppable. It penetrated the Iron Dome. So Iran revealed to the world that Israel was a vulnerable little barking Chihuahua dog and not a real, what's a big named Mastiff, Rottweiler, something that, or what's that, pit bull? the pit bull, they got the lockjaw. Iran exposed Israel as really being all bark and no bite because of these hypersonic missiles. They penetrated the Iron Dome. They were a couple of missiles away from hitting, they even hit energy infrastructure, but a couple more energy infrastructures. And then the big one, and I'm noticing this is now a talking point with the professionals, but one of the things that I said weeks ago is a couple of missiles into the desalination facilities will wipe out all of Israel's water for everybody. So Israel has wiped out Gaza, water, everything, they even flood them with sewer, all this gross, crazy shit that the Gazans have had to deal with the Israeli military defense. And that operation is so uncool, so unacceptable. But that's what the wealthy, what is it, Tel Aviv, West Bank, Golan Heights, that's what they were going to become. They were probably another day or two bombing with no water, no energy, blown up, very nice apartments. They weren't the low-income apartments that they blasted and leveled in Gaza. Those were very nice apartments, high-rise apartments. And same thing in Iran. Iran took some hits. They had beautiful. They weren't low-income in my world. Those look like nice apartments. Those were like nuclear engineer type of income apartments. And they took some hits. I'm not saying that Iran didn't take some hits, but it looked like from the reports I read, like Scott Ritter and some of these other professionals, weapons inspectors, they've all got YouTube channels. The things that they were saying is they were saying that Israel was saying ceasefire, negotiate it, intervene, stop. And it's my interpretation that this Operation Midnight Scammer was an effort to try to stop it, to save Israel, not to actually destroy any real nuclear content, although maybe they tried, because one report is they actually were trying to kill the Ayatollah, the Khomeini guy, the big supreme burrito with the big hat. And from what I understand, I think he's still standing, or maybe napping in a bunker, but he's alive, from what I understand. Who knows? With AI videos, anything's possible. He did make a statement, and he did take a victory lap. In my perspective, I think Iran won it. I think Iran won it because Israel got the shit kicked out of them. And it seems like, why would the U.S. do that? Why would Israel provoke and massacre 30 high-ranking intel officials? So, I mean, they did accomplish that mission, right? I mean, they almost lost all their water and all their electricity and became, a Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble, kind of resembling Syria or some sort of rattlesnake desert in Yemen. Just about became that, or worse. They could have been a nuclear exchange, because Pakistan and China, everyone's got nukes, everyone around them, Russia. Although Russia played cool, stepped back. He didn't want to get tangled up in it. He knew that he's got his own battles going on there fighting the Ukraine Nazis. And whatever delicate peace negotiation, although Donnie is now sending more missiles to Ukraine and contradicting everything he said on the campaign trail and everywhere else. That's what's most devastating to me, is the bloodshed and the escalation to World War IV. I call it World War IV. I think World War III already happened. The CIA says World War III was the Cold War with the Soviet Union. I actually believe that World War III was about 15, 20 years there on the dance floor of Syria, Iraq, all that Afghanistan, all of that area. We had all the world with their proxy all battling. And in some cases, the U.S. DOD was arming ISIS and Al-Qaeda and all sides, both sides, opposing sides, who was funding who was with who. Insane. Insane. That, to me, when the world has got there with their proxies and it's lit up, that was World War III in my book. So World War IV is where we're at now. That's what we're looking at. And that includes weather warfare. Weather warfare weapons are a real thing. Look up Operation Popeye if you think it's a wild-eyed conspiracy theory. Operation Popeye was what was used in Vietnam by the U.S. DoD, and it was juicing up the rain, juicing up the clouds, and it rained, and it looks like it kind of backfired, but it created mud. The theory was they were going to drown out the communists that were dug into the ditches, into the ground. Now, that may or may not happen. It might have. But it also brought up the snakes and the water. So you had the servicemen that were now partially wading through drowned out lands as well. And then the vehicles, the U.S. vehicles, were having just as much trouble as the communists were getting around on these muddy roads. To me, that looked like it backfired. But I don't know. Was Vietnam a victory? I don't know. I really don't know. Z says part 2 coming soon. On the wars? Yeah. You think with Ukraine, the Slavic Civil War, I call it Slavic Civil War with Russia and Ukraine, or you probably do with Z. I think that's Russian. I agree with you. I don't stand with the Ukraine Nazis. I don't want another dollar going to Ukraine. That little coked up Zelensky kid has fleeced us for hundreds of billions of dollars. And now they said they didn't know where the money went. Why would a businessman, of course, he's filed bankruptcy. The thing about Trump is now we're going to have to bring out all the dirt and all the truth and all the ugly shit because he's just turned into such a golden polished turd, right? I mean, when you contradict and lie to your base and you start doing Israel first and MAGA as a priority and violate American first and our country that he said he was so proud of, we kind of have to start getting dirty again about the truth. The truth is Donald Trump is a failed businessman. He has hundreds of, I don't even know. We'd have to pull out, I don't want to spray numbers because they're inaccurate. He's filed for bankruptcy many, many times. Just about everything he's touched has turned to bankruptcy, whether it was steaks, wine, vodka, casinos. How do you lose money on a casino? Donald Trump lost nearly $1 trillion on casino. How do you lose money on that? I remember it was that Clinton that asked that. I remember people asking in 2015, 2016, it's like, how do you lose money on a casino? Everybody gets rich who owns a casino. That's true. That's true. But good to see you, Dirk Diggler. Good to see you. God bless you. But so I'm just rambling. I'm just spraying, talking about current political events, talking about the collapse of American First, talking about the betrayal of the once respected and admired, beloved Donald J. Trump and the entire Trump administration. Everybody around him at this point. I could make some exceptions. I like Tulsi. She has an assistant named Joe Kent. Joe Kent ran for Congress, almost won, right here in my neck of the woods in Southwest Washington. He's an outstanding guy. I followed him. We were friends before he got elevated, but he's ex-Intel. I think it was, who knows, CIA, somebody, but he's a good guy. I mean, as far as if you can believe that delusional theory of white hats and black hats and, nobody trusts the plan anymore. I don't see any white hats anywhere. That's just me, though. There's a whole bunch of MAGA that still sees white hats, and they believe in Dan Bongino and the FBI and Kash Patel, who's, you see that guy, and that reminds me of little coked up Zelensky. Anytime I see these guys coming around like this, it's like, bro, blink twice if you've been starting too much cocaine. Bink. It's like, bro, you're not even hiding it. It is, we all remember a couple of bumpers in a bar in the 1980s. I know I did. I hate that stuff. I hate it. I don't like going up and then a crash landing coming down. That's the worst feeling. God, like you're all gritting and clenching your teeth, and oh my God, what a nightmare. I never understand people that like speed, meth, and coke and all that stuff. It's horrible. It's a horrible experience, but it's super addictive, and you get high performers. overachievers like Kash Patel and who's hooked up with. Have you seen his girlfriend? His girlfriend is Israeli Mossad. You know, who knew? She probably honeypotted him. You know, I mean, is that true? I don't know. I don't want to say things that aren't true, but she's definitely Israeli intelligence and like 30 years younger than him. And you got Kash Patel, right? You know, with the eyeballs. And even Dan Bongino kind of looks like he needs to switch to decaf, and it's just brutal. It's brutal. The Blueberry Bulge. Technically, he's not a failed businessman. He made a lot of money. That's true. Off the schmucks. Oh shit. He's making a lot more by the day. Will all his money cheat code for the rich bills? Good comment. Blueberry Bulge. Blueberry Bulge. Is that kind of like I found my thrill on Blueberry Hill? That's an old boomer song. I'm Gen X, but I still remember. I got a lot of old boomer songs. I love the old timers, but I am technically we're the coolest generation. I know you Zoomers. You Zoomers think you're the coolest fox, and you are. Some of you are pretty cool, but Gen X is the coolest. Come on, Gen X. I mean, we know how to party, you know, but then now us aging Gen X, we're done with party. You get to a point where your body can't party anymore. Your liver goes on strike. Your kidneys start resisting. It's like you have some sort of internal jihadi, some organ jihadi that starts working against. It's like an autoimmune deficiency or some sort of autoimmune syndrome when you start getting old. It's brutal. So you don't want to get old, guys. Don't get old. You don't want to do it. I never understood it when I was younger. I never understood why everyone was crippled up and limping and complaining about arthritis and all of this. And I was like, how does that happen? How do people can't walk and they're just spending all this time sitting down? They just want to, watch TV or something. And it's like, now I'm starting to understand the body starts to break down. It goes on strike, So anyway, how long we've been going? 37 minutes. I'm devastated with the American First implosion. That's how I'm describing it. I don't trust this new FBI, DOJ. I love those guys, Kash and Dan. I used to watch Dan's Rumble. I think he's invested in Rumble. I used to watch Dan's Rumble all the time. I mean, he's real intense, and I like that. I like people that curse and get loud and intense, and their eyes are just like, I love that. Don't you? I mean, that's why I like Alex Jones. Alex Jones is like that. Casey Quinn, Trump will deny midterm results and declare martial law. God. Wouldn't that be fucking scary? He could do that. I've lost my trust so bad. We could see something like that. Or how about this scenario? Since you're talking about scenarios, I don't know how you deny midterms. I guess he could. I think he's going to get his ass kicked in the midterms. America is going to get shellacked. We are going to be overtaken by communist Democrats. And I sure hope nobody's a communist Democrat. I mean, I don't really care about the names. I just don't want you wrapped up in Maoist, Marxist, communist type of... I don't want the country to be imploded. I don't want civil war. That's why I talk so harshly against anarcho-communists. That's why in a town full of anarchists, I'm not happy with these people in my town, Portland. Where's everybody at, by the way? Nobody said where they were from. I don't like anarchy. I don't like Maoism. I don't like Marxism. I don't even like socialism. Socialism is really, it's something totally different. People intermingle socialism and communism. I don't think, a lot of people don't even know what the difference is. They don't even know what's going on. It's just top-down authoritarian. But what's going to happen? This is what I see. At this point, I think we're beyond the point of salvaging. I could make some suggestions. I've been making multiple suggestions. I actually think the White House is completely co-opted at this point. I mean, with the argument with Elon, I was trying to play diplomat. Just my tiny little voice on tiny little social media. Never underestimate the tiny little voices and the power of influence, though. I do believe that. But, what do we got? We got nothing. I did try to work diplomacy with Elon and the haters against Elon, Steve Bannon. I was like, hey, you guys, back off Elon. You back off. He was a Democrat, and for a long, long time, he's came to his senses. We got to give him room. Trump was financing Democrats most of his life and career. He was not a diehard Republican. I don't even think he's a Republican now. I think he's a prime minister of Israel, maybe. And whatever the Israeli party, Lukid, I don't know, has been for over a decade. Yeah. So, okay, back to that comment, though. That Casey Quinn, I think, is onto something. And I'm not quite sure it'll be the midterm. But how about another 9/11? Dare I suggest that? I guess I just did. How about some sort of attack on America by a false flag that triggers everyone into fear psychosis, and they're open and willing to Patriot Act 2.0, Patriot Act 3.0, right? Cybersecurity, all of this. I see this all coming, and there has to be a false flag. We are so prime. I think these weather warfares could be false flags too. But I also believe that now this is wild, just bear with me. I think we hit China. We meaning I don't know. Pentagon, DOD, I don't know. I think we hit China, or who else is battling China? China's been the worst floods they've seen in probably 1,500 years. We're starting to talk like that now here. We haven't had summer monsoons like this, I think, 50 years in Texas like that. Although it does flood. I mean, you look, they've all got sirens set up. They've got flood alarms, not everywhere, but they're now debating that. But they are in all over certain areas in Texas because they've had these floods. They've seen them. It's not totally out of the ordinary. But somebody hit China. I think it was us or them, the DOD. And it's kind of weird with us. We're really not them, the deep state. They're just operating under the American flag. We, the people, are not a part of them, but they are operating. Blueberry Bulge. Isn't it pretty cool that they put the military on the streets before they denied the Epstein files? Bing! Remarkable coincidence, huh? You got the National Guard and you got the Marines taking over California. Now, granted, I've seen videos where there's people firing pistols at those ICE workers. Stop doing that. Stop attacking ICE. Stop attacking the feds. We don't want civil war. That's not the way to get the message across. All that's going to do is, just like Cassie mentioned, is bring in martial law. If we have a couple of attacks on our infrastructure, which is not hard to do, we're sitting ducks. We're very vulnerable right now. I hate to say that. I feel really vulnerable because we don't really have any kind of Iron Dome defense system. Yes, we've got some military. We got a lot of military. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be able to prevent an attack on that level that is so traumatic that it shocks people to their core. The normies are going to all drop to their knees and submissive follow, especially the right normies, the woke GOP normies, are all going to usher in the Patriot Act 2.0, Patriot Act 3.0. Cybersecurity, biometric, the whole works. Everything people have been talking about, like Alex Jones and InfoWars, and there's a whole bunch of other people. There's the health ranger and who actually is buddied up with Alex Jones. There's a whole bunch of people that have been talking about this stuff. Michael Young, I think he's Intel or contractor or something. He's been talking about all this stuff. They're all on X. They've been talking about it for years. Looks like they knew Mega would punk out. It could be true. It could be true. I think it feel like there's some sort of behind the scenes negotiation that's happened with the CIA and the DOD and Trump administration, or some Ratcliffe, the CIA goofball. He studied under Brennan. Brennan's now being investigated for the shit he did. You don't think Ratcliffe didn't know what Brennan was doing? As his, like, he was the Karate Kid, and Brennan was Mr. Miyagi, right? Mr. Miyagi, and Ratcliffe was there, paint on, brush off, brush on, brush off. I mean, that's Ratcliffe. I mean, he's just a CIA stooge. He had to have known what was going on. I mean, obviously, not obvious. My intuition tells me he knew exactly what's going on. With that CIA operative, he could have brokered some sort of a deal. I believe that Epstein was an intelligence asset. I personally believe he wasn't just Mossad, although I think he was Mossad. We know that Jizzy, Miss Jizzy Lane, her father, Robert Maxwell, was big upper deck Mossad intel, who was just mysteriously drowned off of his yacht. Right? I mean, anytime, I hear drownings off of yachts, it's like my spidey sense kind of goes, boop, 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 alert. I think he was whacked. And who whacked him? Who knows? Who whacked Epstein? Obviously somebody with enough power that they wanted to shut him down. He was in jail, or did he make it to jail? There's a whole lot of conspiracy theory there, and I don't want to quite go down the rabbit hole, although we're already in the friggin' rabbit hole, right? Not good. But finish my thought there is that I think he had to have, as who's the great commentator? I think he had to have CIA connections. God, I'm drawing a blank. I should look him up because he is outstanding. He's on X. He's all over the place. The guy's brilliant. And he's constantly talking about these type of things. And he knows what he's talking about. He's not just armchair analysis. This guy's actually studied and researched it. He says he thinks the CIA knew about him and was coddling him, which means he probably was a part of that. I think they're way above the FBI. So if you don't know, during the Clinton years, the CIA got into the back door of the FBI and corrupted it and took over, and that's who flipped our DOJ and FBI. So it's never been the same. We lost it. Obama solidified it. They were doing all kinds of illegal things. If you know Lieutenant General Michael Flynn's story, I have issues with him because he was wearing wiretaps. He was wearing wiretaps to try to trap Donnie. Why did he do that? Why did Flynn do that? It's hard for me to respect anybody who does that because they threatened to put his son in prison. They threatened his family. That's who these people are. Obama brought in Flynn and treated him like that, and Flynn bolted. Trump brought him in, and then they attacked him with this bogus Russiagate. God loves you. God loves you, Timothy. This music is unnecessary. Oh, you don't like the music? I can't hear it. See, you're set up right next to it. I can't hear it. My ears going out too, just a little bit. I get all this old man shit, man. You guys respect your elders. Come on now. This music's Cassie Quinn. All right. Did I turn it down enough? I still got it in the background. God is king and he's real. God bless you, Timothy. I believe that. God is number one. Numero uno. Numero uno. God bless you. Jesus reigns. Rugged sled riders, stop. Stop. But what were we talking about? Just spraying about, it was Jizzy, right? Weren't we talking about Epstein? So you got Maxwell, who mysteriously drowned off of his nice yacht. So he brings in, Lady Jizzy Lane, and I'm pretty sure that you had the CIA involved there. You might have even have had British intel. You can never underestimate MI5, MI6, that whole Five Eyes clusterfuck. If you've ever heard of Five Eyes, that all the 5 countries that are intelligence gathering and working together, never underestimate them. Never underestimate the British ability to fuck with us in America and with our politicians and our Constitution in Congress. It goes way back to the American Revolution. Okay? Where'd you get that ring? It looks cool. This is a beautiful ring. It's a memento, actually, from my mother. I got it at Depot Bay, Oregon. It's got these cool, almost, they kind of remind me of a phoenix rising. It's made out of silver. It's turquoise. Number 3. I'm a number 3 guy. Daughter was born on a 3rd. I was born on a 3rd. I got a bunch of family all born on 3s. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Right? That's also a heavenly number, like 1111, right? Is it 1111? 821. That makes it 11 on the East Coast. Anybody on the East Coast? But I bought that for it's like $60. You know, I was like so cheap in 2006. Almost, what is that? Almost 20 years ago. And it's held up. Really nice. Depot Bay, Oregon. If you've ever been there, if you haven't been there, you got to go. And then there's a restaurant called, I think it's Tidal Wave, right on Depot Bay. You sit in there, enjoy some oysters. I love seafood. I live down in Newport. I've lived along the coast, and my daughter and I want to move back over there. I'm looking at trying to find some affordable housing in Lincoln County. We got to get out of Multnomah County. I got to get out of Portland. I'm being outpriced. I've been here 50 years. I've been here my whole life. I'm being outpriced out of my own hometown. And what they call affordable is $1,500 a month rent, which you've got to be making $3,000 a month to get into. People don't understand why we got 15,000 people in tents under blue tarps in blue tarp cities all over the bridges around Portland. That's why. That's why. The Democrat neoliberals didn't build any low income. In fact, they demolished low income out in North Portland. Now, to be fair, they think that affordable is a fancy way of calling it low income. So when they build all of these affordable housing in their brain, in their mind, in their branding, in their language, they don't want to call it low income. It's like class warfare. And I don't know. I can't explain it. But they call it affordable housing. And it's not affordable. It's not affordable. And every year, the rent goes up $100. Been here 5 years. That's almost $500. It just keeps going up. The next 5 years, it's going to go up another $500. So it's pushing. I've seen a lot of people evicted and booted. I've seen the numbers double that are homeless. I would actually like to target and do some research on how many of these NGOs in Portland, how many of them have evicted and contributed. They say they're fighting houselessness. They say they're fighting homelessness. Language, jargon. But they're not. They're evicting the people right out of the units that they called affordable and they couldn't afford them, and they're making them homeless. And there's no place for them to go. The shelters are temporary. They're booked. You got waiting lists to even get into a filthy padded shelter on a dirty floor in some church somewhere. And then they're being billed. Multnomah County is paying $3,000 for that dirty pad on a dirty floor in a church shelter somewhere. It's so effed up in Portland. I've been here my whole life. I've had warehouse spaces. I've had galleries. I've had art galleries, Blue Catfish Studios, Blue Zen Project. I've been on Belmont and Hawthorne. I've been all over. I've done so much arts in this town. All of my artist friends have been ran out of town. They can't afford it. They can't afford it. We can't afford warehouse space. We can't afford creative space. We can't afford art studio space. None of these Democrats, none of these neoliberals have thought about how do we hang on to the artists. We're losing the artists and the creative energy and the good people, the good souls, the people that believe in a good spiritual intent and helping our community. They've ran all those people out. And the people that came on, a lot of them came up from California, not all of them, and I don't hate all Californians. I've met some beautiful Californians. I love California, some people in there. Lots of beautiful people. I hate to sound like a hater, but a lot of the Californians came up. They don't give up about Portland. They don't give up about Oregon. They really don't care about anybody. You got this narcissistic fight or flight California syndrome. And it's come on up and it's come into Portland. They pay cash for the homes. They drive up the rents. They drive up the property values. $50,000 houses are now $500,000 in 10 or 15 years. I'm going from late 90s, 2000, that'd be 20 years. Be 20 years, Dad. Okay, so 20 years, $50,000 houses are now $500,000. Same house. That's Portland. People are like, wow, where did all the homeless go? What happened? Oh, you got all these rural Oregonians. They don't give a fuck about homeless in Portland. They want us all to die. These guys are hoping that we fail. The Blueberry Bulge. Talk about the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs type activities for Elon's batteries because it's instantly taking down even in lives. Wow, I don't know. I wish I could just add you to the video and interview you. I mean that, Blueberry Bulge. I'd like to just interview you. You've got all kinds of cool stuff. God is king and he's real. All right. Yes. Timothy. Sorry, I didn't mean to repeat that. I talked about the ring. It's bad. Portland's bad. But I mean, I guess I didn't really want to talk about all that, but I really should because it really is a part of my stress. It's a part of my anxiety. I'm being driven out of my own town. So I've been looking for some options down at the beach. I've got a couple of good, I was going to say brothers, but good old friends that I consider brothers. I've got Max with Maxwell Hats. He's down in Lincoln City. He's bought some sort of trailer or manufactured home or something like this, a cool little spot. And we'd like to get down there and see him. And I'd like to actually move down there again. Maybe Newport. Newport would be better for me. I've always preferred Newport over Lincoln City. My mother was there for 15 years. She built a couple houses. I helped them build those and used to hang out there, and I would house sit for a month. I mean, can you imagine driving from Portland and house sitting for the summer at the coast with a view of the bay, right, for free? One house, they dropped a hot tub on it, although I'm not a huge hot tub guy. I prefer saunas. I don't like the chlorine in hot tubs. But they had a hot tub on one of the houses, the last big house that they built. But what a dream. I had the best setup there where I could just buzz down to the coast and stay for a couple of weeks. And then when they would go down and surf in Baja, that's why they needed a house sitter, somebody to water the garden and keep the place safe. I'm an excellent house sitter, by the way. If you need a house sitter, man, inbox me. Get a hold of me because that's what I do. I'm respectable. I got integrity. And if you've got some place you need protected, man, I will protect the hell out of that place, especially if it's at the Oregon coast. If you got a beach house, how about painting? I'll go down, we'll house sit. My daughter and I will go down and house sit your beach house down at the Oregon coast somewhere there. Could even be Yachts or even Florence, although it's getting a little south for me. Just me. I love southern Oregon coast. But I can even paint the place. If you need a painter, I've done that before too. I'm kind of looking for some work trade, like a rent work trade, right? So, and I would even consider going out to the Dalles. But Raquel and I both would prefer headed toward the Oregon coast. Raquel's my daughter. And we really want the beach. It's wonderful. The beach is wonderful. Corvallis is interesting too, Cassie. I was down there in Eugene for a couple years. I did a bunch of artwork. I got into glass. My mother was down there had turned her garage into a glass kiln. So I started making these glass fish out of all of this random glass, these little extra scraps that she had. So I started setting up little skeletons of fish, and then all of those sold. And then I would bring them back to Portland, hang out with my artist friends, stay in their studio spaces for a couple of weeks or a month. That's kind of been my lifestyle, before I became a dad, which is, it's approaching 15 years. So that was the game changer, but that's the way I used to do it. That's the way we all did it in Portland, is we would stay in warehouses. We would turn warehouses into cooperatives, really. I mean, when you analyze what we were doing, Corvallis is pretty cool. They got the college down there, right? Eugene is okay. I mean, it's cool. It's beautiful, but I never really felt at home in Eugene. I got family. I got second cousins down there with property. It's beautiful. Rattlesnake Mountain. What they call it, rename that, is it Spencer? It used to be called the old days. It was. I found Newport sketchy. I've heard that. My buddy Max is in Lincoln City, and he says, "Brother, we got nothing but tweakers in here." And I'm like, "You got meth tweakers?" He goes, "Lincoln County." Lincoln County has a lot of meth production. I had no idea. And now you're telling me Newport. The Oregon coast is hit or miss. There's two things that happen down there. People get depressed because it's dark and rainy and cold through the winter. So people start getting really depressed. What do depressed people do? They self-medicate. They want to feel happy again. So Blueberry Bold says, can't only messages spread the word, the dark one walks the earth now. Got to get going. God bless y'all. Just don't let Jesus down by saying 2 + 2 is whatever they declare it to be. All right. God bless Blueberry Bulge. God bless you. And Gulf Island Rock, I love Brookings, Oregon. The banana belt of the Pacific Northwest. Oh, man. You said it. I know Brookings, brother. I know Brookings. Gold Beach. There's like that little nub down there. You go along the Oregon coast, and there's this little geographical nub, and you hit it. It's a banana belt. It's actually, is that what they call it? I think we used to call it like the Pineapple Express, or maybe they called it. The point is that it's like 20 degrees warmer down there than the whole entire rest of the Oregon coast. That's one of the secrets of the Oregon coast. The locals down there, they don't want you talking about Brookings, Oregon in live streams. They want you to shut your pie hole. When I start talking about Brookings, not you, brother, me, or anybody, big channels. I'm just, a little guy. But they don't want anybody coming down there. They don't want you telling how awesome it is. They don't want you talking about the affordable property and this beautiful sunshine and warm weather, and it's really amazing. Gold Beach, I love it. Lots of retired folks down there. What I like about retired folks is they like artwork, and as an artist, I get to talk to my neighbors and I start selling them artwork. And I did that at Depot Bay. I would go down to Depot Bay, and there was a couple of nuclear physicists retired, and we started chatting it up with them. And next thing you know, they're buying $500 paintings. Then they commissioned me to do. I mean, it turned into thousands of dollars, and I had no idea. That was going to happen. I was just down at Depot Bay, just chilling out, right? Do like the smoke from Southern Oregon? Oh yeah. There's Jackson County and Ashland. That's always been because of that warm, temperate rainforest. There's always been a lot of growers there. Even before it became legal, we had a lot of. I knew a lot of people down there. I was in the medical program, so before it became recreational, I was doing medical for people that were dying, cancer. I had an MS patient, and they wanted to get off narcotics. They wanted to get off of pharma, which, anybody that's been on pharma wants to get off of it. It's a horrible experience. Addiction is a horrible place for anybody to be. I don't wish that on my enemies. I don't want my enemies to be addicted and going through that nightmare. God, no. We should pray for everyone that is being afflicted by addictive demons right now. Glory be. We send you out, Satan, in the name of God. Get out of these people's bodies, mind, and soul. Goopinder, you're flirting at me like we're at the bar. I'll have to buy you a drink now. What are you drinking? Look at you. Citrus trees and date palms grow in Brookings. Palm trees. See, they don't want you to know that. I didn't even know they had palm trees. I believe that, though, brother. I believe that. Gulf Island Rock. I do. I know citrus trees. Amen, amen. Thank you. Good. We got some good God-fearing people here. God bless you all. What's your channel about? Good question. I'm an artist, so I like to paint. Like I was like doing live streams where I was painting. It's so boring. I would play like rave music, play some EDM dance music, and it's so boring, But I like politics. I've always been into politics. I've always been into art. And so I kind of combine that. It's kind of like meshed, I'm kind of like a vlog. It's kind of like Oliver at the Aqua Blue Lounge. On X, I'm Aqua Blue Lounge. I've got a website with the artwork that's artwanted.com, Aqua Blue Lounge. That's kind of my handle, Aqua Blue Lounge. Just kind of, I'm an ocean guy. I'm a water guy. I've got a lot of artwork. I'm not set up to show you a bunch of the paintings, but I've got a bunch. This one behind me is art from the ancient Andes. So this piece here, I love ancient, old Mesoamerican, Egyptian, ancient Egypt type of. I love all that stuff. So lately, I've been just kind of painting these things and bringing them in, and that's kind of a part of. It's just me sharing, connecting, trying to get the message out on a small channel level. I don't have a lot of reach. I mean, I've got like 100 people. I'm not looking to make money on this. Like I joked earlier, I'm not going to sell you vitamins. I'm not going to sell you stuff that makes you hot with the ladies. Cool art, yeah. Yeah, this is really neat. You can see, if you could see the whole thing, it actually goes this way, and it's a part of these tapestries. So I turned their tapestry, which they wear these like ponchos. They did. We're going back thousands of years here, guys. I'm real big into that time travel thing. When I'm painting a painting, I feel like I'm time traveling. I know it sounds insane, but aren't most artists kind of batshit crazy? Or if you're wealthy, you're eccentric, right? So if you made money in art world and you've got some properties and you're doing well, you're just eccentric. People love you. But you're a poor artist, you're a mooch, you're probably a sexist, you're probably a misogynist chasing women. They start coming in with insults. You're no longer a cool, eccentric playboy. No. You are a big problem to the country. You're a big problem to society. My wife was painting yesterday. We live on a small island in the North Pacific. Oh, brother, I'm so jealous of you. I'm so jealous. That's like Paul Gauguin. Paul Gauguin was Tahiti, wasn't it? Wasn't he into the Tahitian landscapes? So Paul Gauguin would paint these beautiful tan Tahitian under these island trees, and I love Paul Gauguin. Wasn't it Paul Gauguin? Very cool time travel. I know. I joke about the time travel, but I joke, but I actually believe in it. I actually believe that we can, through meditation, we can plug into these higher powers in consciousness, and it almost feels like a teleport, like remote viewing. Like I can meditate and kind of go to other places, like remote views type stuff, and I get premonitions. Like I get psychic intuition and psychic premonitions. Like I was talking about earlier about the video that I made in New Mexico about the Apache reservation. Now, one of the things I read in there is it says the Apache didn't like snakes. They didn't like you can't come onto the reservation with snake boots. You can't have a snake wallet on the Apache reservation. This is on their website, and I talk about that in the video, a couple videos back, about 2 weeks ago. People missed that because it flew under the radar. The flooding started weeks ago in New Mexico, the exact same area. And I'll repeat it. The reason it did is because of the fire, the burn scars in this huge area on the mountain. So the mountains circle the Apache reservation, White Mountains. And they have a ceremony called Painted White Woman ceremony. And I believe that has something to do with the coming of age it's like a 4-day ceremony. It's all on their website. I go through a little bit of that on that video. It's just a short video, but the reason I did that video is I had a premonition that there was massive flood coming. God, Lordy. I had no idea that the Holy Spirit was placing on me a premonition of what was to come in Texas. this last week. I had no idea it was going to be that bad or that intense, but I knew it was danger. On that Apache website, it says snake is bad omen, so I make some joke about that. But then they also say the owls. They didn't like owls. Can you believe that? I love owls. I am a huge owl guy. When I see them, there's some, just for the record, there's some First Nations, when you see an owl, it's a spiritual message from the spirit world in a positive way. But the Apaches particularly say in that website that if you hear I was joking it was rain dance, Brandon. Sundance is beautiful too. But I wasn't really joking. I was saying, is this an Apache rain dance? 2 weeks ago, I made that video. Now look at the rain that came. Now look at that rain dance. I mean, it's beyond a rain dance, right? It's a little more than what they need for the crops, right? I mean, it's full blown, killed hundreds of people, a good 100 young children who remind me of my daughter. Horrible, horrible nightmare for any father. But they said, if you hear an owl at night, prepare for darkness and death. And so I said, hoot, 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 hoot. You all heard the owl hooting. It's a heads up. 2 weeks ago, I made that video. And I said, floods are coming. Now, I didn't know that it was going to be ongoing, although in the video I do say the radar shows rains coming all through the 4th of July. I think I actually said that exact phrase in one-liner. Little did I know what was actually really coming for July 4th, July 3rd, July 4th. 2 weeks later, because the radar was there 2 weeks ago. I'm an amateur painter. Why didn't the meteorologist do a better job of seeing what I saw from Tropical Tidbits, tropicaltidbits.com. It's just a website. They got radar. There's tons of data you can get lost in and geek out. But yeah, it is dark. Who said that? I can't look at it. It's bad. It's really bad. But that bad omen was revealed to me through that reading of the website as I was looking at the Google Maps. My computer was like glitching out. It doesn't like Google Maps. I don't have a lot of memory on it's a little Asus, little 35 GB or whatever it is. It's just a real small micro laptop. And it's like, I don't know what Bingy, whatever they call that. And so the Google's was like making everything stalled out. I was looking at the maps and then it was cutting out it was editing my audio. It was editing my voice. It was clipping. They call it clipping. It was clipping my video, clipping my audio, which I thought was really strange, but I don't think it was anything malicious. I think, I really do feel like these rains are not natural. What do you guys think about all these monsoon rains into the whole country now? But North Carolina, Illinois, the Texas massacre of hundreds of people now. We'll own the weather by 2025. Mercy seat. Absolutely. Who was it? Was that Lyndon Johnson? Was that President Johnson that said that? I think it's 2 weeks. Blaming the natives for rains from pollution, which big oil company is paying you up. Ajax Clean. I don't take any money from anybody. So, and I'm not blaming the natives. I actually am indigenous. I've got a bunch of heritage, but I don't like to DEI that and fly my flag and talk down to everyone else. But it's not really about blaming natives. That's really a crappy way to say that, Ajax Clean. And it's not blaming it, but this is not from pollution. This didn't come from burning Ford trucks. No, sir. No, Ajax Clean. That's a lost path you've fallen into. HARP. Thank you, Brandon. HARP. We're talking about geoengineering. Google weathermodification.com. Google Jim Lee. Jim Lee's got a YouTube channel. Good friend of mine. Jim Lee is the scholar. I call him Professor Lee. Jim Lee. Google him on X. Jim Lee's all over there. He's got multiple. He interviews the this young guy, Augusto, he's in his 20s, who's got Rainmaker cloud seeding, who's being framed and blamed for all this flooding. Those cloud seeders don't create 30-foot waves that kill 300 people. No, we're talking about serious stuff like HARP. That's called an ionospheric heater, HARPs. And they're all over. There's multiple HARPs. There's one up in Alaska. And they do change weather. They bounce off satellites, and they can alter things through electromagnetic energy. All of that's real, but it all gets convoluted. It's kind of like the dipshit Dane Wigington. Dane Wigington with geoengineering. This guy has made millions scaring the crap, pushing Al Gore climate change. Al Gore, you're all going to die. You're going to be dead in 2008. There won't be any polar bears left. All this Al Gore crap is Dane Wigington. He made millions scaring the crap out of the young people and brainwashing them, thinking that it was, well, he takes climate change, but he blames it on airplanes. And he calls them chemtrails, so it's chemtrails. I take a different perspective, and Jim Lee is the one that actually educated me. Still, I'm just a student. Operation Popeye, Mercy Seat. I did mention that. That was the Vietnam flooding. These things are on record. Wikipedia, Operation Popeye. If you guys think this is wild-eyed conspiracy shit, this is real. My question is who did this? Who did this in Texas? If we hit China, wouldn't it be weather warfare? Wouldn't retaliation, tit for tat, wouldn't that be to hit Texas on the 4th of July, our national birthday? Doesn't that seem a little strange to anybody here tonight? That we got hit on that level on the 4th of July when everyone's at camps. Everyone's in I was going to say wilderness. There's not a lot of wilderness in Texas, but everyone's out enjoying the great outdoors for the great celebration of our birthday. Who would want to hit us with weather weapons? I'm not saying that this is true and accurate. Brandon says checks out maybe. I'm saying maybe too. I'm saying weather warfare is real. I'm not saying that 100% what happened in Texas was a weather warfare event, although I don't know how it couldn't be. I don't buy into the Dane Wigington, Al Gore climate change. No. We're way beyond that. Look up, if you doubt me on anything, look up the headline. Just do a Google search. UAE is electrifying the clouds. Look up UAE, that's the United Arab Emirates, electrocuting the clouds. They have an actual ionospheric, or what is, it's not an ionospheric heater. I was going to say it's ionospheric. It's a totally different thing. It's totally different. But they actually juice it up. So they take a cloud and electrify it. So it's all juiced up with graphene nanoparticles, and that's a part of that's in all jet fuel. So what Jim Lee separates, and we all make fun of Dane Wigington, the millionaire who made millions pushing Al Gore climate change, global warming bullshit, that the kids still keep coming into my threads and spouting off global warming. If anything, it's global freezing. We've had record cold winters for the last 3 years. When it gets hot in summer, hey folks, that's called summer. That's called summer. Now, when it rains and floods in the middle of summer, that's not called global warming. No, it's not called global freezing either, Dad. That's something altogether different. It's geoengineering. And that doesn't mean I'm working for big oil or petroleum. I'm just saying I don't buy into what they're saying. That's what that means. And you got to question everything. Question Jim Lee, but go educate yourself with Jim Lee. Jim Lee breaks it down. Here's Ryan Dubnicka. UAE made it rain every Sunday for years. Then they had that massive flooding, then stopped. Thank you, sir. God bless you for your work and research. I wish I could just pull you into this and we just put you right on here. I'd like to interview you. And, wouldn't it be fun to do something like that? Just start pulling people in and we could do a group chat. I mean, I think that'd be fun. When you smoke rocks and decide to do a live stream, see you then. You're back. Don't smoke rocks, C unit. Come on, buddy. Which explains why we get cold winters. Well, it's just been the last 3 or 4 that it's switched. It has switched. We started having these massive freezing, or 180 below zero at the Arctic, 160 below zero. And then you get this wobble. So the polar vortex, it's spinning on top, and then it wobbles, these little wobbles. And the wobble is what pushes that freezing cold temp down into the U.S., and you get these northeast clippers, and you get all of this stuff around through there. Huge snowfall, record cold temperatures. And if you just Google CNN I post them all the time. Nobody wants to believe it. But CNN was posting record cold temperatures recorded here, all over through there. It's mainstream media is picking up these record freezing temps. Now, people can argue that there has been some hot clusters, which I'm not going to deny. There is some irregularities, but things appear to be cooling. I know it sounds weird in the summer, but as I always post, I just go ape shit crazy and I call everything global freezing, hashtag global freezing. If you go on X, hashtag global freezing, or global warming maybe too, and just take a look at all the different links that have been posted. A lot of them are from me, but there's other people too. I think these flooding events are a result of playing with the weather. It starts to become more unpredictable and uncontrollable. There could be something to that. I don't blame the small cloud seeders that they're trying to frame this Augusto with Rainmaker, his small business Rainmaker. I just saw Dane Wigington attacking him on a channel. And Dane was saying, who is this kid? He's in his 20s and he's a millionaire. There's pictures of him with the Clintons, blah, 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 blah. And then he's like, I was like, oh, he's going to smear and he's going to attack Rainmaker. And then he flips, and Dane actually speaks the truth. And Dane says, this didn't come from a small cloud seeder. This came from geoengineering on an upper level. And bravo, Dane. Dane might be seeing the light. We might actually Jim Lee might be influencing Dane a little bit. Because I watch Dane on interviews because he's influencing. He's made a lot of money off of his video, The Dimming. If you haven't seen The Dimming, Dane that's his movie, and he's done really well with it, and he's also been able to market things. So it's like Jewish space lasers. That's so funny. Do you remember when Casey Quinn? You remember when Rep MTG said it was Jewish space lasers? I joked and I called it juicy, because everyone's very sensitive about anti-Semitic stuff. We don't want to be anti-Semitic, right? I don't say anything anti-Jewish, and I don't use the word Jew. I say Judaist, which like Islamic, Judaist, and I don't blame the people of Israel. Why? Because the Israeli people, half of that country is out in the streets, much like you or the Americans, protesting the opposing government. They're opposing Prime Minister Bibi. They got their rainbow flags. It looks just like a protest here in Portland, in Israel. They're protesting with their rainbow flags and yay, and all their colorful, bright identity politics stuff. It's a lot of liberals in Israel too. They're not all conservative or whatever or corrupted. IDF, Mossad, Ben Set type of intelligence operations. That's who's fucking us. That's who's taken over the White House, in my opinion. And that's what the evidence is pointing to. You look at all the people that are around Donnie. I call President Donald J. Trump Donnie, or at least I used to. Maybe I'm going to come up with something different now because I don't feel as friendly with him as much anymore. I feel betrayed because we don't have world peace. We have him now sending Ukraine Nazis more missiles when he said he wasn't going to do that anymore. He is. So those are broken campaign promises. Broken. That makes sense? That didn't make sense. What the hell is that? Campaign promises. Promises made, promises broken. That's what it is. Promises made, promises broken. So Yeah, Casey. Is it Casey or Cassie? I'm sorry if I'm fucking up your name. I'm such a jerk. So I don't mean to be. I'm trying to be nice. By the way, the cloud seeding doesn't cause massive flooding. Yes, exactly, DB. I agree. I'm with you. Yet we have super hot summers. That's a good point. It's a valid argument. I'm not going to say no, because what the hell's heating things up, right? Dane Wigington, for example, he believes that in the Al Gore greenhouse effect. So he's been saying up till just recently, Dane is starting to shift his language because there's been a lot of criticism from people like me and Jim Lee and all the Jim Lee's disciples. It's like a Jim Lee, Professor Jim Lee, Church of Jim Lee. You've got to take a look at Jim Lee. If you have any interest in geoengineering or climate change or educating yourself, tap into Jim Lee and weather modification. He has all of the patents for the last 100 years for weather modification. People have no idea that this shit went back to the 1800s and they were using balloons to make it rain. So it wasn't all just Apache rain dances. Brian Dubnick, you're right. It's unpredictable, uncontrollable. While cloud seeding tech gets more advanced and popular, the world also slowly burns. And the ocean acidity. Now, oceana acidity, DV, that's very wise. You're very right. And that's another part of our pollution and our demise, the mishandling of chemicals into the ocean. And you're right. That jeopardizes our seafood. That jeopardizes small business seafood restaurants, small business seafood fishermen. How about Fukushima now blowing radioactive waste, radioactive cooling water directly into the Pacific? Notice how that got all real quiet? Did you even know that Japanese government was doing that? Yeah. Radioactive waste is going to heat up the ocean real good. Radioactive waste is going to cause acidification, right? Isn't that the word? And the ozone layer disappears. Well, see, now that sounds like Dane Wigington. Is that you, Dane? I'm glad Dane could come visit us tonight. Or a disciple of Dane. That's the stuff that Dane says. That's the stuff Al Gore says, is he believes that the ozone layer is disappearing. I don't believe that. I do think, and this is, I like Elon. I like space travel. I support going to Mars. I support that we send Elon and whoever his cadre of members straight to Mars. I think that would be a wonderful thing. Let's get Elon to Mars. But if you watch those rockets and the way that they punch holes in the ionosphere, okay? And again, I'm not trying to break his balls, but if you're going to go Dane Wigington and talk about ozone layer disappearing, why aren't you talking about every single one of those satellite rockets is punching holes in the ionosphere? And you can see the colors as it opens up. It creates this light show. Also dumping the jet fuel. What is the jet fuel? Anybody know? I think it's oxygen. Liquefied, is it oxygen? I don't know what the hell. Whatever that rocket fuel, they'll dump that, or they're extra, and you'll see these huge, people are like, oh, it's UFOs, oh my God, it's aliens. No, it was a SpaceX rocket, and it did what it did. So I just don't buy into the ozone layer disappearing, even with Elon punching holes in the ionosphere right now. How much can we continue to do that? But even with that happening, I don't think that's causing this type of heating. I don't think it's causing. Now, I'm kind of walking a slippery line because I do believe in solar flares are affecting us, the electromagnetic energy. It's been this solar cycle 25 has been super intense. There's a wonderful I call him astrogeophysicist named Stefan Burns. He's got a YouTube channel. Check that guy out. That guy is scientific and he presents both sides. Brilliant dude. And young. You know, anytime you got 20-year-olds that are like, out of the mouths of babes come words of wisdom. It's biblical scripture. He's one of them. And he also talks about astrology, because I get into astrology. Like, I'm not going to do it today, but I do like to read. I like to follow when there's certain alignments and certain things that are like Uranus went into Gemini. So, and he's actually was talking about in his video, he was talking about how the Civil War had these certain alignments. The American Revolution had certain alignments. These things right now that are happening in the sky are aligning and coinciding just coincidentally with that same type of astrological formation in the sky. Check out Stefan. I think it's Stefan Burns. I think it's Stefan, Stefan Burns. It's not because of cloud seeding. I agree with you there. The clouds were not caused by cloud seeding. Thank you, DB. I agree with you. Got to look at the bigger picture. They already control. I do agree with you, Brandon McReynolds. Bro, the weather for sure. Bro, I love the word bro. If they control, I use it all the time. Maybe I use it too much. Maybe you're making fun of me. That's all right. You can hit me. It's all good. You can't hurt me because I like to look at myself as ego-less. Ego-less. I don't insulted easily like that. And they would have no way to prove it. Texas is not the enemy. I agree. A nuisance, but not the enemy. DB, these are all DB. What's wrong with the rainbow flags? No. Here we go. I got to backpedal. Got to make a disclaimer. I don't have any problems with the rainbow flags. I do take exception to these strange trans flags with rings. I think it's over the top. I think you're losing America's heart and mind. I think the rainbow flag, it should include all of these different gender identity politics. You don't need to morph it into where people are advocating for doing surgeries and chemical castrations on youth. I do take exception to that. I've worked with at-risk youth. I was a crisis counselor, child psychologist. I worked with at-risk youth in the late 90s to 2000, 2001 in downtown Portland with different agencies. And I've seen the damage that comes. I've had a lot of clients die, young teens killing themselves from the depression. I don't think it helps to feed into gender dysphoria and psychological mental illness and depression to young people. Now, I understand the argument against that is that if you don't address it and you don't accept it and tell them they're okay, then they're going to kill themselves. So this is what I hear a lot in arguments on social media from Democrat neoliberals. And I'm not a hater, but I do take exception to specifically encouraging chemical castrations and actual castrations of at least the children, at least under 18. I'm a civil libertarian. Just to be clear, I think adults have a right to do what they want. If they want to mutilate their bodies, I don't like it, but so what? I don't have to like it. If you're an adult, you have a right to run your own life. Who the hell am I to dictate who you want to have sex with or what you want to do? Doesn't mean I have to approve of it, do I? As soon as we object, if a Christian speaks out, automatically we're transphobic, we're xenophobic, we're sexist, fascist, white men suck, and all this horrible shit that they hit upon us regularly, right? And I'm not playing victim complex. I'm just saying that's the tsunami that comes at us when you say, I don't like that part of it. Did you really believe him? I'm sorry, I kind of lost track. Did you really believe him? Was it Dean? I'm sorry, Cali Bear Love or Kai Bear Love. That's a pretty name or cool name. Military grade high energy weapons. Yes, sir, Charles. Military grade high energy weapons melting cars. So that's talking about the direct energy weapons. That's probably back on that discussion of the juicy space lasers, which MTG actually did at one point say that it was Jewish space lasers. You can't say things like that. You can't say things like that because you lose people's hearts and minds. And most importantly, you lose the argument because people are going to come in and attack you. You're now an anti-Semite, right? So anything that you have to say, any opinion that comes out of your mouth from that point on, it's meaningless. It will not register. It's rejected by people's psychological barrier and psychological, their master operating plan, the iOS. You can't call things Jewish space lasers. Now, she could have said juicy space lasers. She could have said direct energy weapons, because that's very real. You look at Raytheon, all the military industrial complex. Raytheon, is it .com? What is Raytheon's website? Look at Raytheon's website. They actually openly brag, or at least they used to. They totally discuss their direct energy weapons on ships, on use, for all kinds of purposes. Like we've already talked about extensively with just Operation Popeye, there's all kinds of things that they use this on military levels. Slava Ukraini. Casey, are you? Oh, are you? KC. Slava Ukraini? Oh, okay, so you're just tolerating me calling the Ukraine Nazis. I got an issue with Azov Battalion, but hey, listen, I don't have any issues with you. I appreciate you being here and hanging out. Hopefully you're not in the military, and it's you guys really, didn't you lose like 1 million, or didn't the Ukrainians lose like 1 million people? It really looks like a massacre. That's not cool. That could have been avoided. That was a CIA social engineered massacre. DB goes back to the acidity also interrupts the entire ecosystem. Spot on, brother, or my friend. In a non-pronoun way. I don't mean to be pissing anybody off. No, I'm not Dean Man. Dane, Wiggington. Oh, okay. I'm going back in the notes here. I'm going back in your note. I'm self-educated. Good job. You sound smart. How many satellites does he own? A ton. Yeah. Come for the penny, stay for the conspiratorial rambling. Thank you. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use that as a header. That's got to go straight into my fucking website somewhere. The entire ecosystem of the world is affected by the ocean, meaning the entire economy, which is based off natural resources, is affected. Spot on. The ozone layer is not affected by tiny rockets. It's affected by the chemistry and physics of the gases and particles we constantly spew into the atmosphere. Okay, I've heard that argument a lot. I've studied and researched that too. The ozone repaired itself. I believe that, Ryan. I believe that. That was the fear porn of the 90s. Watch Space Weather News. Ben Davidson. Space, yes, I think I follow that. Space Weather News sounds... There's space... Is it spaceweather.com? Spaceweather.com, they follow the sun. They talk about all the CMEs. They follow all scientific data. No conspiracy there on spaceweather.com. Pretty sure it's spaceweather.com. That's one of them I just leave open on my browser. I never close. So I got the earthquakes, USGS, open, never close it. I got the volcanoes, never close it. I got the space weather, never close it. So I just daily go up at the top of the browser, right? I'm just telling you my technique. I don't know how you do it. And you just click on those and do your daily checkup. You got to follow it daily. Luckily, the global warming is causing crazy storms, so the lightning literally does ionize oxygen, turning it into the ozone. Interesting. I've heard some of this. Is that what Dean says? There's a lot of different modified theories. Less you know, the more you learn. I like that, Brandon. OP. Dirk Diggler. I love that. Isn't that a character out of a movie? I'm always willing to learn. What's funny about is what are your credentials? I'm a 16th generation American. T-wife, 16th generation American. Okay. Right on. Bravo. My family is connected to Clark with, that's my grandmother's maiden name is Clark, with Clark and Lewis, the early pioneers that founded Oregon. So I'm sixth generation Oregonian. We founded Oregon. Is that fifth generation? It was 1840s. But my great-great-grandfather built Timberline. Or no, he didn't. He worked at Timberline Lodge. I can't say my great-great-grandfather built Timberline Lodge. He worked on the mosaics, and he actually helped for this woman named Virginia, who gets all the credit for the Blue Ox, Paul Bunyan and the Blue Ox mosaic up at Timberline Lodge. But I did find an old picture of Charles Clark, who was, I think, my grandmother's grandfather. Goes way, way back. And so I've got great roots. And the Clark, she goes. My grandmother, Joanne, rest in peace. She was a part of the Sisters of the Revolution, or what is it? Grand sisters of, I don't remember exactly what it is, but she was a part of all that of the the whole old school founding. Are you a doctor? No, definitely no. I'm not giving any medical advice. I always have to say that I don't have a medical degree, and I'm strictly a psychologist. I was a crisis counselor, so I have training in counseling, but I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't recommend medications. I don't have the ability to do that. And cool, DB. Thanks for subscribing. Just a small channel. Like I said, I'm never going to sell you a damn thing. If you want to buy vitamins that'll change your life, go to InfoWars, because InfoWars Info Store, they've got everything you need. He's also got cool hats and t-shirts. So I don't even have cool hats or t-shirts to sell you. I got paintings, but I got clients that buy my art. I wonder if this guy has ever listened to the other side of his argument. I do. I usually play both sides. I often will say both sides just to be fair. God bless Ukraine, Slava Ukraine. Oh no, man. We got the Azov Battalion, brother. I like you. Thank you. What are your thoughts? Incoming carbon tax? I don't like carbon tax at all. My God. How did I get so backlogged on all these great questions? I'm controlling the weather from Philomath. Philomath, that little town in Philomath. That's hard to say, isn't it? Philomath. You keep driving out through there to Eddyville, and Eddyville is where he was the mushroom grower. He'd make these little compost footballs. We would take those and throw them in our gardens. Burnt Woods, right before there, is Burnt Woods. Burnt Woods, we were looking at trying to buy land there, and that unraveled. My mother was going to buy some there, and it unraveled. But that is a magical, right in between the Oregon Coast Mountains. It warms up so you don't get all the rain from the Oregon coast. Very nice. Philomath is a very, very small town. Are you bored? Are you having fun? Are you there by this college? Timberline Lodge had that St. Bernard dog years ago. Can't remember his name. St. Bernard. Yeah. Oh, right. I think the dog, it passed though, right? I think I do remember that. No, I'm Rowan, not bored. Hey, Rowan, nice to see you. Are you a scientist? No, I really am not a scientist. I'm a political jackass. I've got an opinion like everybody. I'm a co-founder of the Green Party back in the early 90s. And so in Oregon, we were the Pacific Party before we became the Pacific Green Party. And then we ran Ralph Nader in 1996. We ran Ralph Nader in 2000. And then there was a split in the party and blah, blah, blah. What does everybody think of this Elon's attempt to bring a new America party? Do you think that's just kind of a political action committee? You think it's just kind of hype? Is it? I've been reading that some people think he's working with Trump. I don't think he's working with Trump. I think there's a real bad blood between them. And I look at it as more as a political action committee, because with the Green Party, I know how much work it is to actually get ballot access. And then you got to maintain ballot access. It's a lot of work. It's amazing. Complete hype. Well, thanks for sharing. Why, yes, I think very deeply. Yes, I'm a philosopher. Is that the Beastie Boys? Why, yes, I think very deeply. Aqua is a pure philosopher. I am. I'm not a scientist. I'm a painter. I've been painting since I was a teenager. I've been a professional painter for 30 years. I've actually sold professionally for 30 years. Almost 30 years. And I've had art galleries, art collectives, where I've got to micromanage like 15 crazy artists. And then we did monthly shows. So I would book music, bring in the wine and the drinks and the women and hundreds of people in the neighborhood. And then I did the Belmont Street Fair. I took over that. And we did it. We renewed at the Belmont Art Festival. I mean, that was 20 plus years ago. So, I mean, I'm old school Portland, old school Oregonian. Not a scientist, not a doctor. Although I could see going back to college to actually become some sort of PhD, just to say that I did it. It'd be kind of fun. I went back to college when my daughter was born. Really, just create some extra revenue. I think you would really appreciate Parente's political insights and microphone issues. Have you ever listened to Michael Parente? Yeah. Michael Parente is old school. What's the best way to get your painting sold? That's a very difficult question because it's a lot of work. You just got to keep going at it. Don't give up. No matter what you do, my best art advice, and this is what I would tell the artist, the young artist, is don't let it beat your dick into the dirt. Don't let it beat you down to death. I've had artist friends die. I've had a lot of artist friends die, unfortunately. People can slip into depressions very easily. And there's intentional overdoses, there's unintentional overdoses. I don't even want to get into all the sad scenarios, but it is tragic, and there is a lot of stereotypes with artists that actually are true. I mean, there's a lot of batshit crazy artists. They're called eccentric. They're called eccentric if they're successful or have lots of money, like a Michael Rousseau or Rick Barteau, Native American First Nation. He was our neighbors. I'm good friends with him, and he's passed over, unfortunately. Rick Barteau, his artwork's all over Portland. There's metal. He's in the Portland Art Museum. Rick Barteau is a family friend. I have East First Nations, Celeste Tribe. I have a lot of First Nations connections. John Trudell was friends with my sister, friends of the family, and I cooked him chicken livers and bacon, and he was fighting cancer. He was in town doing hemp stock. My friends were setting up hemp stock out in Portland, hemp stock festival, hemp fest, but hemp stock. And John Trudell with his son, Counting Coup. I always thought that was a cool name. I go, what does that mean? Counting Coup? Counting Coup is almost like Art of War. It's when you go into enemy's territory and take an assessment of what they have, how many men, how many women, how many horses, and then you escape the enemy's camp to come back. It's called Counting Coup, right out of The Art of War by Sun Tzu. I love that. Best way to get your painting sold. You don't want to hear it, but you've got to set up a table at farmers markets. Any place you can. We used to set up, we started last Thursday on Alberta Street. I was a part of that original crew. I was out there for years, and then it got gentrified, and then they ran all the artists out. And then I started on Belmont when I was talking about my art gallery and Blue Catfish Studios back then. And we did what was it called? It wasn't last Thursday. It was First Fridays. So you have First Thursday, and then we started First Fridays. And it looks like people in Selwood or some other artsy fartsy people here in Portland kind of carried it on, and it kept going. But we started it. Our crew, our art collective started First Fridays in Portland, in Southeast Portland. That was us. And Willamette Week made fun of us, said, oh, what comes next? Third Tuesdays? Fourth Wednesdays? And like, oh, why couldn't they just do last Thursdays or first Thursday? And I was like, shit, come on, guys. Willamette Week really used to miss, they probably still are missing the mark. But you got to just keep going at it. You grew up in Aloha, Oregon? Very cool, Brandon. Aloha. Is your studio properly ventilated? Yes, I have. As a matter of fact, we have air purifiers running 24/7. Just because I don't like dust, I don't like the smell, we don't like that, so we have that going. It is. That's a good point. You got to have studio proper ventilation. Sometimes I joke that the vapors are getting to me, and I'm just a crazy artist, huffing the paint thinner. But I'm not really doing that. It's just I like to make fun of myself. I'm a self-deprecating artist. And if you don't make fun of yourself, you're going to get all funky and depressed. And it's really important to make fun of yourself and make fun of life. You have to do that because if you're not, if you didn't joke about things, you're gonna slip into a depressive funk. Don't do that. Don't do that. As your friend, your psychiatrist, and as your attorney, don't slip into a depressive funk. What is your experience of the AIDS epidemic? I don't have any real direct. I know that there was a community that was doing arts here in Portland, and I have known a couple of friends that have been HIV positive. But I was in Portland, yeah. I've been in Portland my whole life. A little bit in Eugene, little bit down in Newport, but always been here in Portland. You know, it's kind of sad to see that I was brought to this stream when he was saying some absolutely contentious stuff, and now there's like 1/3 the amount of viewers on this live. Oh, no problem. I usually don't do 2 hours, man. There's been people bouncing up to a couple of hundred, which amazes me because when I first started, I would get like 5 people, and we just sit around, and there'd be 5 of us, and it's like, you get 4 of them are trolling you. Like when I started here, it was like there was about a dozen people trolling me hard, and then a few of you guys like DV, you stuck around. It's okay. Listen, you can't feel bad about numbers. And listen, I'm not actually really here to collect numbers and clicks and views and sell you a bunch of shit. That's just not me. I'm just here. To be honest, it's therapeutic. It's therapeutic for me to come on and talk about the anxiety that I'm experiencing from political daily current events. And to release that and to talk about that, that's all I need. And then I'll share it. And if there's maybe I'll get 5 people or maybe 10 people. I've had the last live stream I did, I had like 4,000 or 5,000 people view it. I was actually shocked because I don't do live streams. I'm going to start doing more, but I've never had 5,000 people drop on ever. I don't think. Not that actually there might have, I don't know. And then I like to do shorts. So you'll see I'll put music with shorts in my life. You'll see my daughter, you'll see me. And then I'm used to be kind of a DJ guy. I used to be a bartender guy too. So I know music and I like to put music. Oh, I glitched out. I glitched out there. Are we back? I glitched out. It said it disconnected. I am going a little long-winded. I shouldn't be here 2 hours. I like to do 20 minutes, and with the live streams, I like to try to do an hour. But it's all kind of new to me. Yeah, this is the first of any of your content that I've seen. You're still here. All right. Yeah, it glitched out, and then it reconnected. It's therapeutic for me to listen to like-minded people like you. Well, that's cool, Brandon. That's something that I've never actually had happen like that. Nobody's ever said that before here. I don't get a volume of people, so I appreciate that. I thought it would be kind of cool. I'm always interested in what people look like because I have a lot of psychic intuition, and if I can see people's eyes, like you can scare the kids like that. Don't do that. You're going to scare the kids. But if you look into people's eyes, I can see their soul. I can read them. It's beyond an aura. It's when I meet people, it's kind of like Christopher Walken in that. It was at the movie called Coma. Like he shakes hands and all of a sudden he's like, Jack. You're in a car and the river is rising. Don't go to the river. Christopher Walken style. You're shaking someone's hand. I don't know if you've seen that. Isn't it Christopher Walken? I think it was called Coma. Like the guy goes into a coma and then he comes back and he's the near-death experience. He's got like all this psychic power. And if he touches someone's hand or touches somebody and sees them, you can start to get these psychic. I hate to say it, but I'm kind of like that. I've had a couple of near-death experiences. I should have been dead 3 or 4 times. Just different scenarios. And I look like Aquaman if he wasn't a superhero. See, I'd love to chat with you, man. Coca-Cola and bourbon. Oh, I used to love. Mine was Pepsi. I was a Pepsi guy, but I loved whiskey and Pepsi. But I can't drink anymore. My liver won't tolerate that. It's not good for me. So I stay off of that, and it's good. My thinking is really cleared up, but your health, it's hard to turn your health around when you've been like a heavy partier, a heavy drinker, like we were Gen X through the 80s and 90s. It's kind of hard to repair the body. Your liver will repair itself. Mine did. Over 10 years, I had marbled liver, and that's what they call it. It's got like marbling, and I had a little spot on it. All that's healed. But now I got other issues. I got a kidney issue, and then there's like possibly maybe even a gallbladder thing. So I don't like to talk about the health issues, but I do have some health issues. But Coca-Cola does taste good. See, that's the thing. Some people love Coca-Cola. That stuff is not good for you, brother. Okay? I'm not going to preach to you. But the bourbon is better for you straight and neat than with that Coca-Cola. I'm just being honest. And the other thing I got into until I came to my senses is I started drinking Diet Pepsi with aspartame. And that is pure poison. That might have done more damage to my organs, along with probably COVID a couple of times, but then even the drinking. I mean, honestly, aspartame kills all the lab mice in the laboratory. So don't drink aspartame. You're better to drink sugar stuff than diet stuff. Oh, aspartame. I was like, somebody said, who was it? Somebody said, what the hell are you drinking that crap for? And I said, well, I'm putting on weight. It's when your metabolic starts slowing down. That's why older people start putting on weight. Your metabolism, it just starts slowing. You could try to speed it up and do things, but you have to really pay attention to things like drinking with all those liquid sugary calories. So it was a weird delusional moment, and I actually it wasn't just Diet Pepsi, it was Diet Cherry Pepsi. That was my weak link. That cherry flavoring in with the Pepsi, it was an addictive thing. And it turns out that the aspartame or the other chemicals, it's an addictive chemical thing. My body was actually feeling that. So, yes, cannabis. And even that, I don't use much at all. And I prefer the vape. So I just like a little vape pen and use it like just when I'm out walking, like go to a park or something. Very, very cool. Edibles are nice. Edibles help with migraines, help me with sleeping. But even that, I don't do too much right now. It comes and goes. There'll be times where, especially if I'm working on a painting or a piece, that I like sativa. The sativa it helps me get, it kind of energizes you rather than the indica. Indica is what knocks you out. Indica is that helps with the pain reliever, helps with the sleep. It helps with all those things. That's what people use, the indica and the sativa. So, yeah, my grandpa's currently noticing he's getting addicted to Coke Zero. I swear to God, I got addicted to Diet Cherry Pepsi. It's weird. That was really strange. Of course, when I was drinking 15 years, I was addicted to drinking. Alcohol is very addictive. It makes you feel good, at least temporarily. And then if you're hungover, you just start drinking again. It's like, whoo, just punching your liver and kidneys right in the guts. But there's a lot of addictive things. Alcohol is really addictive. And it's a long-term thing. You've got short-term addiction because it's fun and it makes people chatty. It helped me get out of being introverted. I got extroverted by drinking. You get social. You meet beautiful women or beautiful people, whatever your preference is that you do. Met some really beautiful people, beautiful girlfriends, beautiful fiancés. Really, a couple of them at a time. Often that came from social settings. That's, people are so lonely because they're isolated and they're not getting out to the pubs and they're not playing, they're not interacting, they're not having beverages with beautiful women. And beautiful women need attention and they love your company, especially when you start telling them all the things astrologically that are going on with them and all the things psychologically that they're battling. Then they really love you. And then you got stalkers. And then you got girlfriends that are sleeping in cars in front of your house and you're really scared. All right, good night. Let's close it out. Good night, all. Slava Ukraine. Good night. Good night, everybody. Let's close it out. Is that okay? Can we do that? 16 likes. Thank you, guys. 16 on in. Let's close it out. Can we do it? I usually don't do 2 hours. It's right at 1:59:45. So let's do it again here in a couple of days. I'll jump back in. God bless. My cat died and I can't get over it. I miss him so much. Oh, Judith, I'm so sorry. You know, I was just talking to Grandma Nancy. Grandma Nancy still remembers the trauma from her cat dying 2 years ago, or maybe a little longer. She had the cat forever. Anybody that loses pets are like children. Pets are like children. They're no different. I mean, a little different, but not much. Emotionally, your attachment is right there. So big hugs. Let's do a big group hug for Judith. Judith, your cat is with Jesus. Jesus loves cats. I know it doesn't say that in the Bible, but the Holy Spirit told me. Jesus loves cats. God bless you, Judith. We'll see you soon, okay? Sorry to drop out on that, Judith. We could have crisis counseled you through it. Are you feeling okay? Hope you're doing all right, except for feeling depressed. It's okay. My cat died. I can't get over it. You know what they say? The best thing to do when you lose your best friend forever, your furry buddy? Get a new one. That's God calling right there. That's God calling. God makes a lot of kitties, or the Holy Spirit supervises a lot of kitties, a lot of feral kitties, a lot of kitties that need rescuing. Why not rescue a cat? Do you know where your animal control is, or your, what do they call that? The shelter? Animal shelter? Animal control? Judith, the Holy Spirit's telling you to go get a new kitty right now, please. Buddy was his name. God bless Buddy. Buddy would want you to find a new best furry friend, BFFF forever, Judith. Do that, please. Do it as soon as possible. Just take the first step. You don't have to take a cat home, but go to the animal shelter. Go to that animal shelter and look and see what they've got there. And I can tell you right now, there'll be a wonderful Siamese cat waiting, looking at you, just waiting for you to come pick them up, Judith. Stay busy. It's good advice. I always say, never stop creating. Always paint, always create. Always create. I love Jesus too. All right. God bless, Judith. 2 hours? My God. You guys are awesome. Thanks for hanging in there. I'm not used to having a crowd like that. I usually just do a video and then I'll post it on X or somewhere and see if I can't get some views. So it was really great seeing everybody. Come on back around. I just lost my dog of 13 years and he was next to me every day. Cost him about a month ago, and I feel your pain. Yes, Brandon's feeling. See that? Now we got a group hug. We've all missing our favorite furry friends. Title made me click. I've heard that. I've heard that that's how the algorithms, you can also use hashtags to manipulate and get the crowd to come in. So I'm going to try to do that a little bit better. All right. Good night. God bless, Judith. You're going to find a new furry. Don't you get sad. Get happy and give your new furry pal a new big hug.